Donald Trump doesn't win elections the way he used to. But he still wins something far more valuable. Attention. Every day, in every news cycle, Trump finds a way to pull the spotlight back to himself. Not by accident, not by luck, but because he understands something most people still don't. This video is not about polls. Not about votes. Not about rallies. This is about why Trump keeps winning attention. Even when the system tries to move on. Because in modern America, attention is power. In the past, attention followed authority. If you lost office, you lost relevance. That rule is gone. Trump proved you can lose formal power and still dominate the conversation. Once that happens, politics changes forever. In earlier day 3 parts, we learned Trump's power didn't fade. The system couldn't let go. Identity and attention replaced authority. This video goes deeper. Today we answer the core question. Why does Trump win attention even when everyone says they're tired of him? Trump isn't fighting Democrats. He isn't fighting Republicans. He isn't fighting the media. He's fighting for mindspace. And once you control mindspace, everything else follows. Before Trump, attention followed events. Leaders competed on ideas. Silence reduced relevance. After Trump, attention follows emotion. Leaders compete on reaction. Silence increases curiosity. Trump learned this early. Think about a post that makes you angry. You scroll past dozens of calm opinions. But you stop on the one that triggers you. You don't agree. You don't like it. But you engage. That post wins. Trump works the same way. Trump doesn't aim to be liked. He aims to be felt. Anger, fear, validation, defiance. Emotion beats logic every time in the attention economy. Trump keeps winning attention because he never plays defense. He never explains. He never clarifies. He never closes the loop. Open loops demand attention. Supporters amplify him. Critics analyze him. Media reacts to him. Different motivations. Same result. Trump stays centered. Trump doesn't dominate attention because people agree with him. He dominates because people can't ignore him. But attention alone doesn't explain longevity. Plenty of viral figures burn out. So why hasn't Trump? The answer lies in how he weaponized conflict itself. Trump doesn't chase agreement. He manufactures conflict. And conflict is the most renewable resource in modern media. But attention needs fuel. That fuel is conflict. Not chaos. Not violence. Narrative conflict. Support is limited. Conflict is infinite. Agreement ends conversations. Conflict restarts them. Trump understands this instinctively. Most politicians avoid conflict. Trump positions himself inside it. He frames every moment as us versus them. Truth versus lies. People versus elites. That framing never expires. Media can't ignore conflict. Conflict drives panels, debates, breaking news banners, endless commentary. Trump supplies conflict without effort. That makes him irresistible to cover. Before Trump, conflict was episodic. News cycles cooled. Issues faded naturally. After Trump, conflict is constant. Cycles overlap. Stories never fully end. Trump stays relevant because his conflicts never resolve. Think about an argument you never finished. No closure. No resolution. It stays in your mind longer than arguments you won. Trump creates unresolved arguments. America keeps thinking about them. Trump doesn't want to persuade you. He wants to position you. Once positioned, you react automatically. Reaction sustains attention. Criticism validates the conflict. Every attack confirms the frame. They're against me. They're against you. Trump doesn't need to respond. The conflict speaks for him. Trump doesn't win arguments. He wins endurance. He stays present longer than outrage can last. You can't defeat conflict by participating in it. You only extend it. Silence feels like surrender. Engagement fuels the fire. Trump benefits either way. Trump doesn't dominate because he's loud. He dominates because the system is conflict dependent. And he is the most reliable supplier. But conflict alone still doesn't explain everything. Many people provoke conflict and disappear. Trump didn't. Because conflict was only the entry point. What came next was far more powerful. At some point, Trump stopped being a politician and started becoming a mirror. In Part B, we saw how conflict keeps Trump relevant. But conflict alone doesn't create loyalty. It creates attention. What Trump did next transformed attention into something far stronger. Trump crossed a line most politicians never cross. He stopped asking people to agree with him. He invited them to identify with him. Ideas can be debated. Identity cannot. When politics becomes identity, attacks feel personal. Criticism feels insulting. Defense becomes instinctive. Trump understood this before anyone else. It wasn't planned in a boardroom. It emerged organically. Trump became a symbol for feeling ignored, feeling mocked, feeling powerless, feeling dismissed by elites. You didn't have to love Trump. You just had to recognize yourself in the reaction to him. Before Trump, politics was something you followed. Leaders represented policies. Losing felt disappointing. After Trump, politics feels personal. Leaders represent people. Losing feels like humiliation. That shift changed everything. Media framed Trump supporters as irrational, uneducated, dangerous, embarrassing. That framing didn't weaken Trump. It fused identity tighter. Because once someone feels looked down on, they stop listening. Imagine being laughed at in a group. You don't argue facts. You remember the feeling. Trump attached himself to that feeling. Now attacking him feels like attacking them. Trump didn't promise perfection. He promised recognition. I see you. They don't. I fight them. That's enough. Once identity is formed, facts are filtered. Information becomes for us, against us. Truth becomes tribal. Trump didn't destroy facts. Identity made them irrelevant. Trump doesn't need consistency. Identity doesn't require logic. It requires alignment. As long as Trump stands opposite them, he stays authentic. Institutions rely on rational disagreement. Identity-based politics bypasses that. You can't negotiate identity. You can't compromise identity. That's why Trump feels unstoppable. Supporters don't expect Trump to be perfect. They expect him to be on their side. That's a lower bar. And a stronger bond. But identity alone still isn't enough to dominate the system. Many movements burn out. Trump didn't. Because he found a way to survive without holding power. That's where this gets dangerous. Trump lost the presidency. But he didn't lose power. Because power doesn't always live in office. Sometimes, it lives outside the system. But identities usually fade when leaders lose authority. Trump didn't. Instead, something unprecedented happened. Traditionally, losing office means reduced relevance, limited access, gradual disappearance. That's how the system is designed. Trump broke that design. Trump realized something most leaders never do. Institutional power is temporary. Cultural power is permanent. So he stopped chasing the former and doubled down on the latter. Without holding office, Trump still sets the agenda, shapes party behavior, controls narratives, forces reactions. Not through laws, through attention. Every institution now reacts to Trump. Media responds to his statements. Politicians position themselves around him. Policies are framed in opposition or loyalty. That reaction is power. Trump doesn't need to command. He needs to provoke. Before Trump, power flowed top-down. Office created influence. Authority was centralized. After Trump, power flows sideways. Influence creates authority. Attention decentralizes control. Trump adapted faster than the system. Think of a former boss who no longer works at the company. But everyone still talks about. Decisions are made with them in mind. That's not formal power. That's psychological power. Ignoring Trump doesn't neutralize him. It leaves a vacuum. And vacuums get filled with speculation, fear, and anticipation. So institutions react preemptively. Trump stays central without speaking. Trump supporters don't need him to govern. They need him to exist. As long as he exists, the fight continues. And the fight gives meaning. America was built on offices, terms, limits. Trump operates outside those boundaries. That's why traditional tools don't work on him. You can't vote out attention. The system tried to silence him, discredit him, outrage him away. But outrage is oxygen. Trump breathes it. Trump doesn't need to win elections to influence outcomes. He only needs to remain unavoidable. And so far, he has. But there's one final layer. The most important one. Why, despite exhaustion, despite backlash, despite years of coverage, America still can't look away. America isn't obsessed with Trump. America is stuck with Trump. Because Trump didn't hijack the system. He revealed it. Now comes the truth underneath all of it. Trump fills a role the system created. Not a leader. Not a policy maker. A pressure valve. Trump absorbs anger, distrust, frustration, alienation. He gives those emotions a shape. Without him, they don't disappear. They scatter. And scattered anger is dangerous. Trump is criticized nonstop. Yet the system quietly relies on him. Because as long as attention is focused on Trump, structural failures stay abstract. Deeper reforms get postponed. The system survives another cycle. Trump becomes the lightning rod. Before Trump, discontent was fragmented. Anger lacked direction. Trust declined quietly. After Trump, discontent is visible. Anger is concentrated. Trust collapses loudly. Trump didn't cause the storm. He gave it a name. Here's the loop America can't escape. 1. Trump provokes. 2. Institutions react. 3. Media amplifies. 4. People choose sides. 5. Identity hardens. 6. Attention spikes. 7. Trump stays central. Repeat. Breaking the loop requires something rare. Silence. Reform. Accountability. Those don't trend. Trump isn't powerful because people love him. He's powerful because people fear him. People hate him. People define themselves against him. All of that still centers him. Because they assume. Remove the man, remove the problem. But Trump is a symptom that learned to speak. Removing him doesn't cure the disease. It just hides it again. Trump didn't change America. He exposed America. Its media incentives. Its institutional fragility. Its identity fractures. Its addiction to conflict. That's why he keeps winning attention. Until the system changes what it rewards. Trump, or someone like him, will always exist. Different name. Same role.